Thurman Dam opening up today. And before that even happened, backyards were already turning into lakes. We'll show you some of the areas where the water continues to rise.
And the trees are getting soaked too. Imagine if a drenched limb just fell on your car. Would you consider it an act of God or expect that property owner to pay?
News 12 at 6 o'clock in high definition starts now.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Laura Warren. Meredith has the night off.
And I'm Richard Rogers. Good to have you with us. It has rained every day of the month, and we can all tell the spillways at Thurman Dam opened up this afternoon. Lakes and rivers already spilling over.
It's just been wild out there with all this rain. Check out this photo here. It's a before and after of the Savannah River creeping up on a woman's front yard. Here's the after picture. Doesn't even look like the same house. These pictures were taken about 3 weeks apart.
News 12's Patrick Price is live at that spot in River North in North Augusta. And Patrick, everybody has their eyes on this water that's rising over that way.
Stand by. All right, now with more rain on the way, when it's raining right now, these families are just hoping their homes stay safe from the flooding.
It's a view that used to take Janet Utz's breath away, but over the last few weeks, things have really changed.
And you get to watch it slowly and not know what's going to happen next.
This was Janet's yard just a few weeks ago. This is her yard now.
This morning, our entire yard was gone, as was a lot of the other landscaping and all of the other improvements we've made on the property over the past 10 years.
It all washed away within just a matter of days. Now she's trying to prepare as the water keeps on rising.
Literally, it looks like part of the river now. We have a lagoon. How about that?
Just a few days ago, the Utes' backyard used to have a stream running through it. Now they're looking at more like a pond going this deep. That's more than 12 feet.
I don't think there's any way that anybody can prepare for something like this.
Something flowing downstream from the dam controlled by the Army Corps of Engineers.
They've not been here yet, and we've been calling them for the past couple of days to hopefully share some of these images, because I think it's an important part of that decision-making process.
To allow more water into a river that's already 20 feet above where it should be.
We actually have a sign somewhere out there, probably now in the middle of the river, that says private beach.
They won't be seeing any of that white sand for a while, though, until things get a little drier.
We've loved the river and we love North Augusta, and so to be watching this happen, not just here, but in a lot of areas, is really very difficult and sad.
Hey guys, I just want to tell you how strong this wind and rain is right now. About 5 minutes ago, it started softly and now it's just really pouring down. Right behind me, if you can see, some of these houses that are just completely flooded in the front. I mean, driveways, trucks were coming through here earlier, making big waves, splashing out. Now, these houses are not flooded. They wanted to let us know that they aren't flooded, but these houses were made to withstand flooding in this area. Now, as for other areas along the Savannah, they're just really hoping that this rain doesn't make the river rise even more. With the release earlier today and now today's rain, it's more than likely going to increase. But just to make sure, one thing, if you have anything that's, I guess, power-wise, if any of this flooding is anywhere near the power, make sure you turn your power off because it is dangerous. Live in North Augusta, Patrick Price, News 12.
Just coming down in buckets out there. Thanks for that, Patrick. Gosh, it's probably only going to make a bad situation worse,
Even worse,
at those
adding insult to injury.
waterlogged homes.
So we're still obviously tracking rain in the area. Chief Meteorologist Shane Butler watching live triple Doppler for us. And Shane, we can report heavy rain right there in North Augusta.
Confirmed heavy rain.
No doubt about it. This stuff started about a half an hour ago. Within that half an hour over North Augusta, northern Richmond County, we've seen as much in our bucket, 1.17, and it is still coming down. Take a look at our tower cam. Got it pointed down at Georgia Avenue, and you see traffic a little slow there. A lot of cars heading home on the afternoon commute, but the roads are wet and it's coming down in buckets across the area. We have this flash flood watch that's in effect for the entire area, so any amount of rain is going to cause some problems out there. Flash flood warning right now for northern Richmond County, so avoid traveling if at all possible because of the heavier rains. Here's the radar at this hour, and take a look at it. That cell is just sitting here. Anywhere from Graniteville, Vaucluse, Belvedere, North Augusta, Martinez, Augusta, it is coming down in buckets, and it is producing some lightning as well, so be especially careful for that. But the flooding issue is definitely out there late this afternoon with these thunderstorms sitting over the area. Expect more of this to continue across the area through the evening. Temperatures lower 80s at 8, mid 70s at 10. It will drop down to around 75 by midnight with scattered showers and thunderstorms. More on the way tomorrow, but I do see an end to this active weather, at least rainy weather. Drier conditions are ahead. I'll show you that in the 7-day forecast a little bit later on. And for now, though, we've got to send it over to Christy, who's got details on the Corps of Engineers that opened up the gates out there today. Christy?
That's right. I was dealing with water a little bit different than what you're talking about. The Corps of Engineers literally opened up the floodgates at the Thurman Dam today. It was like seeing 22 raging waterfalls come out of that dam. Hundreds came out to see the show, cameras ready, but some people downstream were worried this release would push water levels even higher than they already are. The Savannah Riverkeeper says the Savannah River has risen 5.5 feet since just yesterday. But according to the Corps, this test actually temporarily lowered the river. I know it sounds odd, but the dam usually has 7 generators running, pushing water downstream. And today, during the spillway test, they cut that down to just 1.
Total amount coming over the gates, plus the 1 power generator that we will keep running. All of that added together is actually less than all 7 generators going at the same time. If we didn't lower the reservoir, if we weren't working diligently to manage this reservoir, of course at some point it would overtop. We are protecting the city from a disaster.
Birdwell says the river will rise again after all the generators were cranked back up, and obviously this rain that's going on right now is certainly going to rise it again. And they says they're doing as much as they can, but ultimately at this point we're in Mother Nature's hands.
Yeah, and you got to see something really an unusual thing that only happens every few years or so, right?
It was quite a sight, yes.
It's unbelievable, the force of
It
that,
is, and
that
the
water
sound,
coming
I'm sure
through.
just the noise out there is
The sound and the force
incredible.
of it all. So News 12 also got a special tour of the dam during that release today. Be sure to catch up with us tonight on News 12 at 11 o'clock, and we'll show you that as well.
And along with all this rain, all Richmond County boat ramps are closed until further notice. The dam release today caused rivers and creeks in the area to rise, and most of those boat ramps are actually now completely underwater, as you can see from some of these pictures. A portion of Wrightsboro Road was also flooded, just opened a little while ago, so Wrightsboro Road is all clear now, but all of the walking paths on the Riverwalk are closed. Marina Road and Lock and Dam Park both closed as well, but these massive puddles we're seeing and some of this flooding could actually be the least of our troubles.
All these moccasins, and there are thousands of them that lived on this river, are now in people's sewers, and they're coming up through your drain.
And we are on your side with 3 things to keep you safe in these murky waters. Just comforting thoughts seeing water moccasins swimming around. First, Griffin says keep your kids and pets out of the backyard if you're right off the Savannah River. Secondly, those rising waters will bring mosquitoes when they're gone, so make sure to cut your grass. And third, avoid the lower levels of the city. Those areas will be flooded the most.
More flooding ahead in this newscast. A local veteran, by the way, now is upset with the city of Augusta. Tree branches on city property falling on her car while she was driving. It cost her thousands of dollars to fix. As News 12's Ryan Houston tells us, city officials are blaming God.
All of a sudden, I heard a boom.
An act of God.
That's not an act of God, trust me. That's an act of man, because the trees are all over in Augusta, hanging straight over the streets.
Iraq War veteran Tanya Price was driving down Walton Way when she says tree limbs started falling from the trees.
The windshield was cracked. Right up here, excuse me, right here, it was dent up and bent in. Also, it caused damage to the front end.
Price filed a police report and took these pictures of the thousands of dollars in damages. She found out the tree limbs came from the property owned by the city of Augusta. The city has refused to pay for the damages, and we went to find out why. Bo Barnes with Risk Management told me off camera the city is not responsible because it was an act of God. The county is not liable for things like potholes or tree limbs falling if they don't know about it.
The city is responsible for the property, and with the weather being so bad as it is, they should be going around checking these trees, considering there's a lot of limbs falling in the road.
The city uses a crew of 3 and a private company to trim trees. City officials say the recent rain does not allow them to cut as many. We drove down Walton Way and the street is almost covered with branches over the street. As for Price, she's just happy to be alive and is not blaming God for what happened.
When I heard that, I'm like, on a clear, nice day, I couldn't believe God picked my car to hit on or anybody else's car because it was just a clear day.
In Augusta, Ryan Houston, News 12.
Now, a AAA insurance agent says comprehensive coverage would cover unforeseen things that happen to your car. That type of insurance helps with car thefts, acts of God, and hitting animals, among other things. So, with all this rain, you might not have even given much thought to the health of your trees.
Yeah, and actually, I don't know, did you know this? Trees can actually drown. Too much water can be just as bad for your trees as too little. An official from the tree care industry says continued rain could cause some problems. You can tell if your tree is drowning if the green in the leaves is starting to fade. So check out your trees outside. Make sure all this extra rain hasn't actually flooded them. The search is still underway for a possible drowning victim in Langley Pond. Helicopters, boats, and dive teams are slowly searching the area after a man disappeared in the water yesterday. Earlier today, Burnett Town Police didn't have an ID yet on the possible victim, but this man's clothes, Byron Coleman of Graniteville, were found on the shore there. His parents say Coleman didn't come home last night either. A friend says Coleman was about to make his dream of going into the Army a reality.
He had spoke about that actually last year, that he wanted to go to the Army. He was actually supposed to be gone already, but you know, everything happens for a reason.
With a sled chopper there in the air, multiple dive teams in the water, and the sheriff on the ground, the search continues as family on shore just hope and pray for a good outcome.
Back to the flooding, and we've been flooding with more pics today after the dam release and that heavy rain directly impacting a lot of you. News 12's Karen Edwards live in our social media center taking a look at some of your pictures.
Richard, all this rain has created a perfect storm for a lot of you guys, especially folks up here in North Augusta. The city, now trying to assess the damage, has been canvassing the area, responding to your flooding alerts. A lot of these pictures from North Augusta show flooding across many roads and driveways. Even a swimming pool was taken over, making the entire area more of a lake. And across the street, one home got lost most of its backyard. The greenway has also been hit pretty hard. You can see here the water almost hitting the walkway, and then a lower level section of the path completely submerged in it. Here are shots from the River North subdivision where these homes' driveways aren't even reachable anymore. Several boat docks across the area completely submerged. Take a look at the Hammond's Ferry dock, now closed as the water has risen higher than the dock itself. And take a look at the Riverwalk Amphitheater downtown. The concert area completely submerged. Even a few of the front row seats underwater. A lot of photos coming in as water levels keep rising. It's raining right now. Keep those photos coming. We're posting many on our Facebook page and on our website, WRDW.com.
And some amazing pictures out there to share with you.
Just incredible what is happening out there. Keep them coming. We love seeing those pictures.
And speaking of an amazing sight, before we head to break, as we head off to a break, here's one more look at the floodgates opening at Thurman Dam today, something you rarely see, but this is earlier this afternoon.
A 17-year-old is behind bars after allegedly stealing thousands of dollars worth of items from homes. Houston Bryant was hiding in the woods from 6 o'clock until about 9:30 last night. Officials found the teen after he allegedly broke into a convenience store and swiped an entire shelf of lotto tickets.
And in a case from last year, Diane Wilson indicted for murder and possession of a weapon in the commission of a crime. She's the woman who allegedly shot and killed her husband, Leonard Wilson, and that was in May of 2012.
News 12 is on your side tonight, where some folks are fed up and looking for answers.
They say the county has ignored a growing problem that's taking over their properties. 12 on your side reporter Jerome Collins joins us now with more on that story. Jerome, what's going on?
That's right, Laura, Richard. We can tell you right now, some folks in the Kings Grant subdivision are concerned about an easement that they say has been neglected for years. And they say if something is not done about it soon, it's going to be a major, major health concern.
They said, we'll get somebody out there, you know, as soon as we can, and And it seems like, as soon as they can, never comes.
Stanley Lynch is fed up with what he says is literally a growing problem.
There is a lot of poison oak and a lot of poison ivy back there.
And that's not all.
And he was buzzing. I could tell it was a rattlesnake.
Lynch and neighbor Edna Munns have lived on Collierwood Way for more than 40 years and say the county had always kept up this easement between their properties.
They told us last year that we had to take it upon ourselves to clean it up ourselves.
Lynch says it's not just the hazards lurking in this overgrowth that have him concerned.
It's going to ruin my privacy fence eventually.
A $6,000 investment. We called and stopped by county maintenance. We were told a supervisor would call us in an hour. We're still waiting. Meanwhile, Lynch and Munn say they are desperate for help.
If we could get somebody in, to come in, to cut that down.
Now, Lynch and his neighbors say they're also concerned about the growing mosquito problem. Now, a few minutes ago, I did hear back from Hamid Malik, the assistant director with the county engineering department. He says the county will go to that neighborhood tomorrow, and if that property is county property, they will fix the problem.
Thanks a lot for that, Jerome. We'll all be dealing with mosquitoes very soon.
Great.
I have a feeling. Going to give you a quick look at the Augusta Canal as we pop around the area. This is underneath the bridge there as we get our weather headlines. Shane, a lot of rain coming down right now.
Yeah, the headline is, it is raining again. It's coming down in buckets out there late this afternoon. Here's a look at the radar. We've got a cell sitting right over western Aiken and northern Richmond County, and it is dropping some heavy rain. Flash flood warnings in effect for northern Richmond County till 7:15. Details on the rest of the work week coming up.
Your hour-by-hour forecast with live triple Doppler radar.
Well, we're going to start out with a look at the tower cams this afternoon, and here's what we're seeing again. This is along Wheeler Road at I-20, and our camera seeing a lot of big raindrops on there. A lot of you dealing with that this afternoon. I mean, this thing's really dropping some heavy rain that's over the area. This is Georgia Avenue. You can see some cars moving a little slow there. Trees swaying in the wind. Really heavy rain occurring with this thunderstorm that's right overhead, and this thing's just kind of sitting here. It's prompted a flash flood warning that's in effect for northern Richmond County till 7:15 tonight. We're talking already in our rain bucket, we're approaching 1.5 inches, and that's about in a 45-minute time period. So flash flooding, no doubt about it, and river flooding. Race Creek Basin there, you folks along that probably dealing with some flooding issues right now. So avoid these flood-prone areas this afternoon. And this flood watch goes into effect now and through the overnight hours. This runs anywhere from Bamberg County westward as you head over to Wilkes County, and this is all northward. So anywhere in this area, flash flooding is definitely a possibility through tonight and during the day tomorrow. More than likely, it'll be extended on into the afternoon hours as well. Right now, we're tracking this area of rain that's just sitting here. This is not really moving a whole lot. It's producing heavy rain from Graniteville, Belvedere, right through North Augusta, City of Augusta picking up the heavier rain, and then that kind of heads westward. But really, I haven't seen a whole lot of movement with this. There's lightning embedded in there, but it's just the heavy rain. Again, that's going to cause some flooding issues. And then you got more back out here south and westward that'll be developing. So areas that haven't seen rain, more than likely, we'll see some of that occurring as we go through the evening and overnight hours. So we've got a boundary to our north and west, and out ahead of that, we'll have this risk of showers and thunderstorms. All right, we're also still tracking the remnants of Chantal because this could be a player, at least the moisture left with that over the course of the weekend. It could team up with a frontal boundary that's weakening and it's going to die out over the area, but it's going to help enhance the chance for some showers. So wet weather Saturday, Sunday. Today, though, started out 73, 90 for tops today, but look at the rain bucket out at the airport, only 0.02. So, it's kind of hard to tell, at least for rain around the area. You don't get much at one spot, but then you get already here in North Augusta at about 1.5 inches. So it really comes down in some of these areas. 5.18 in the bucket for the month. Right now, we're rain cooled at Daniel Field, 86 though, no rain at Augusta Regional. So you see how this stuff scattered around. Your neighbor gets some rain while down the street, nobody's you're getting the rain. Well, here we go. Next couple of days, you got a decent chance for rain tomorrow into Saturday, and then I start decreasing a little bit as we head into next week. I think we're a lot drier toward Wednesday, but we got a ways to go before we get there. This front's moving in out ahead of it. It's moist, it's unstable, so that will be the threat for showers and storms. Here's our forecast model. It's going to indicate the wet weather. Even tomorrow morning, we could be dealing with showers across the area. This time tomorrow afternoon, you get the idea that the rain's going to be here. And then we go into Saturday. We get a little break in the morning, and then once again, daytime heating, showers and storms around. We'll deal with more wet weather. So here's how it's going to go for you this evening. Watch out for the heavier rain. It'll occur in some spots. Otherwise, it's going to be mostly cloudy. 74 an overnight low. Tomorrow, it's mostly cloudy. Showers and thunderstorms. Heavy rain can occur with some of these thunderstorms. We already know that. Some lightning as well. 86 for a high. And then beyond that, here's our A disruptive weather yellow will keep it all the way through the weekend with those showers and storms producing the heavy rain, flash flooding, and lightning with some of these thunderstorms. Highs in the mid to upper 80s. And then we're looking at 90s next week. The heat cranks up, but at least the rain may be letting up. Guys.
A little bit of good news there. You know who I feel bad for during all of this is the kids out of school for the summer.
Inside.
No one, everybody's
splashing
inside.
around in the rain, I guess.
Well, that's true. Well, sports is next, and time to hoop it up.
The annual Nike Peach Jam in full swing indoors. Thank goodness. Big crowds and folks coming out to see many of the top prospects in the nation, including #1 and #2 on several lists. Not just them, but those superstar coaches, too. It's an important event for them as they evaluate all that talent under one roof. The Peach Jam is next.
The annual Nike Peach Jam now in full swing, and business has picked up. The 17 and under Premier Division now in action. Several of those guys are going to be future All-Stars without a doubt. While the kids take center stage on the court, it's a chance for the coaches to get a good look at their future players. It's one thing to see them in a YouTube video. It's a completely different animal when you see them in person against other kids with the same skill level.
To be able to get so many evaluations done in a short period of time, again, at a high level of competitiveness and intensity, really helps at the evaluation process. Plus, you get to see kids in a different setting in terms of evaluating character and different attributes.
The top 2 prospects in the nation, according to ESPN, are Jalil Okafor and Cliff Alexander, and they just happen to play on the same AAU team, the Mac Urban Fire. For Alexander, he's still taking visits to see which program is the best fit for him.
Just a school that get out and run, build a great relationship with my family, and me and coaches got to see eye to eye. They're not really important. I just come out here to showcase my game and just came out down here to win Peach Jam.
Alexander hasn't even taken an official visit to any school yet. He's going to start doing that at the end of summer. This may be one of the biggest years of golf for Vaughn Taylor's career. Without full-time status on the PGA Tour, Taylor's used several exemptions to get into events. He's taking advantage at the John Deere Classic, fires a 5 under 67, puts him near the top of the leaderboard. Check out some of round 1 action. Hey, nothing runs like a deer. Steve Stricker getting it done without the putter. Here on number 10, this is a par 5. This is his 3rd shot, and this is what we call an eagle. He sits at 4 under par. How about Patrick Reed, another former Augusta State golfer? 4 straight birdies late in the round. He too sits at 4 under. Zach Johnson's defending champ. He's showing why. Birdie putt here. He is -7, tied for the lead. They're battling the weather in Players Amateur in Bluffton. The prestigious Players Am North Augusta product Matt Neesmith in contention. Winner of this gets an invite to the HBC Heritage. First round of the Georgia Amateur is winding down as well. Evans, Kelby Burton tied for the lead. Both Lee Knox and Jeff Knox have won this event in the past. Finally, a shout out to Freddie Freeman, who is now an All-Star. He won the fans' vote. He received 19.7 million votes in the last 5 days via text or via Twitter. Yeah, that's pretty big. Hugs to everybody for the biggest hugger in the league.
So social network put him into the...
Pretty much, yep.
I like it. All right.
Heavy rain still going on out there. Flash flood warning for Richmond County 7:15. Flash flood warning also for Columbia County until 7:45. Watch out for all that heavy rain out there.
All right. That's going to do it for News 12 at 6 o'clock.
And we'll see you back for more News 12 at 11.